as promised, today we're going to do a little bit of ballistic testing with the VX9 ammunition here from Velocitas. This is some new stuff out on the market, 96 grain solid copper defensive ammunition. And we do have a previous video where we did some accuracy testing with this, so I'll invite you to check that out when we get done. We're going to use the same firearms we did for that previous testing. The Gerson high power lightweight PI Ops here, the Ross Martin RM1C, as well as the much longer barreled here, the Henry Homesteader. And we're going to do a few things. We're going to shoot for velocities first, see how that comes out, and then we'll do some rounds into some water jugs, and we'll check for penetration. We'll measure some expansion. We'll weigh everything out for rate retention and see what happens. So got a lot to do, a lot of work to do. Let's get busy. So with the chrono testing, we're going to go from shortest barrel to the longest, and by just a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch. The Gerson high power here is the shortest. Then we'll move up to the Ross Martin and the Henry. Now, I want to address something real quick on the Caldwell Velociradar here, because I've had some comments that it does its calculations a little bit slow, and I would agree it does. But you have to keep in mind that you've got optical, magnetic, and basically radar style chronographs. This is a radar style chronograph, but it doesn't use Doppler shift. It uses chirp radar. Now, the advantage in that is you over distance, you can get varying velocities over distance. You can calculate drop with it. It can do a lot of cool things, but that comes at the cost of being a little bit slow with the readings. So let's jump into the high power. If you need to, hit the little thing below and take the video into 2x while we're doing this. Here we go. Going to run 5 rounds just in case we get some errors or whatnot. 1181 on that one. 1187, pretty nice on the deviation. 1191, wow. 1170, that one was a little bit slow. And I say slow, it's pretty good for 9mm. It's up there. 1188, so that one kind of jumped back into that range. Deviation there across the velocity, still pretty doggone cool. All right, let's do 5 with the Ross Martin here. See what we can get. $12.02. $12.08. $12.08 again. $12.04. At 12.12. So continues to be consistent, it looks like. All right, now we're going to go with the much longer barrel in the Henry Homesteader here. Here we go. Got an error. That's interesting. Okay. 1483. Wow. 16-inch barrel definitely makes a difference. 1484. 1487. At 1484. Wow. Wow. Very consistent on the velocities there, just all across the board. So now let's set up some water jugs, put some rounds into those water jugs with these firearms so that we can take a look at penetration, expansion, and weight retention. All right, here we go with the Gerson. Gonna send one down and get it wet. 5 yards. Let's go see if we can recover it now. So we've got the projectile here from the Gerson, and I want to point out something real quick. If we were dealing with lead core ammunition, I would typically run 3 water jugs and then that dirt backstop jug. Because this is a lighter grain projectile and because it's solid copper, I had a feeling that we were going to get a little more penetration, so I added a 4th water jug. It's a good thing I did because this penetrated all 3 jugs, or the first 3 jugs, and it stopped in that 4th jug. All right, let's weigh this thing out. Let's get a weight on it, see what that retention looks like. Got to switch over to grains. Remember, our starting point was 96 grains, and we're 95 grains, so hard to complain about the weight retention. That is about what it should be. And now we're going to measure our expansion. Now keep in mind, we started out with a diameter of about 356, but I do not have thousandths on this cheap set of calipers. That's okay. It'll give us an idea. We're not terribly concerned with thousandths of an inch right now. And we're it's about 354, about 55 or 56 right there. So somewhere in that 550 or so range, not quite a double expansion, didn't quite double the diameter, but it opened up really well. All right, now a little Ross Martin action. 5 yards into the water. Man, I'm getting all kinds of wet. Let's go see if we can find it. Now let's take a look at the projectile from the Ross Martin here. And it's a good thing that I put these in a specific place corresponding with which one shot them, because this is virtually indistinguishable from the projectile out of that Gerson. So let's get a measurement real quick. We were in that 356 range stock. We were somewhere in that 5.5, 5.6 max with the Gerson. There's 5.6, 5.9, 5.7. So we're right in that same range. Not quite double expansion, but definitely close enough. All right, let's go for some weight retention now. Remember, we were 96 grains unfired. We were 95 with the Gerson. And here we are. There we go. 95. Wow. So by looking at the measurements, all the expansion, by looking at the weight, no wonder they're virtually indistinguishable, because they pretty much performed exactly the same. And I'm not really surprised with that, because you're only looking at, I think, less than a 1/4 inch barrel length between the Ross Martin and the Gerson. All right, Henry's turn here to get things a little wet. Here we go. Now we got the projectile here from the Henry, and this is surprising because all 3 of these projectiles, I can't tell the difference. If you mixed them all up and asked me to tell you which one was which, I could not tell you that. And that's pretty neat, I think, because this was out of that, what is that, a 16-inch or whatever barrel? Definitely longer than a handgun. Yeah, let's get some measurements. We'll go rate retention on this first. So we'll turn everything on. We will get our tear, and here we go. We were 95 on the previous two. I certainly can't tell by holding it, but it doesn't look any different. So we will see. And yeah, we are 95 grain on this as well. So, man, talk about consistency no matter the barrel length. Holy moly. That is cool. Now let's get the expansion measurement. All right, expansion measurement time. What were we? In that 550, 557, 553-ish range on all of the other ones. This looks the same, so I think this is going to be close. We can't measure thousandths, but yeah, 5.7 there, 5.4 as we rotate, 5.6. So in that 5.6, 5.7 range. So while they look pretty close, there may be a little bit more expansion with the longer barrel, but I think at some point you achieve the max for this ammo, and everything apparently is super consistent at that point. Now, I think that was some really surprising results with the VX9 ammunition here from Velocitas. Definitely jump down into the comments below and let me know what you think based off of the performance that we've seen today. Is this something that you would consider for your EDC, for your home defense? I think the takeaway from this, the consistency in the velocity, the consistency in expansion, weight retention, like I've said consistency a lot, but that is definitely the word of the day today when we're dealing with this ammunition, I think, because, across all three of these platforms, the carbine obviously being very much different than the other two, it was interesting to see that it performed pretty much absolutely the same. Whether we're talking about the shortest barrel, the medium barrel, or of course the longest barrel here. And if you're curious about the accuracy that you can get out of this Velocitas VX9, I've got the video we previously did with the accuracy testing locked and loaded right here for you. So you can jump over if you haven't caught that one already and watch that one next.